Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Hey, what's up, final guys? Charlie says hello. Look, if things are weird tonight, Jack and I are seeing things in a totally different way than the rest of you. I'm hearing myself in the background. I'm like all over them over here. So
Google Hangouts really screwed us when it went away.
Yeah, Google sucks, man. I mean, They provide everything I need in life, but I hate their guts. So tonight, we are gathered here today to talk about this thing called Sharon Tate, or the haunting of Sharon Tate, to be more precise. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my friends, my buddies, Jason Brant, who is nothing but a blur to me, and Jack.
Well, you are this weird, like your face is not blurred, but your arms are going in and out, and it's just beautiful.
The only way I can describe it is it's a helter-skelter.
This is definitely a mass murder of an episode.
Still better quality than the movie we're going to talk about.
Very true. And we spent far less money making it. Jason, do you have any any news? Any big little news? Tiny news?
I'll probably have more news next week, but I got my edits back, so I'll be dumping them off to my proofreader tomorrow, and book should be 2 weeks out. So
edits can't be too bad because you're sober.
Well, I haven't finished going through the edits yet.
All right.
Plus, I pay her, so she's not going to be that harsh to me. You know what I mean?
Be gentle. Don't tell me everything that's wrong. I have news. I did a story. I was asked to do a story for a ghost anthology for a publisher to be named later. And I did one on Jessica Backman and Eddie Hume from my Sinister Entity Island of Forbidden. Everyone's asking me for more, so I just got accepted. So
This is a fourth book, you said?
This is a story. So this story will take place after the third book, which will probably get my ass going to write the fourth book.
Oh, Jesus. I never finished formatting the third book for you, did I? Oh, my God. That was like a year ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Okay. That'll release soon. I promise. I'm on it.
Y'all can get Sinister Entity for $330 from some dude in Yugoslavia if you want it.
My God, I forgot.
Well, yeah, so did I. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
That's my favorite Hunter Shea book.
Yeah. You helped me with that big time. So, Jack. Oh, no. Drinking rules. I can't see the rules this time. Because I can't touch my keyboard. All right. What are they, Jason?
Jack, your words are Spider-Man, murders, and Hillary. And for some reason, I thought Hillary Clinton for a second after the murders.
Me too.
Spider-Man murdered Hillary?
Epstein, Hillary, murder.
Hunter, yours are Invade, Pregnant, and Matrix. And mine are Budget, Exploits, and Joe Bob. And the bonus words are Haunted, Duff, and Mansion.
Joe Bob is week too late.
These drinking words just prove that this guy who does the drinking rules is a stalker, because I tweeted about Spider-Man this morning or this afternoon, and now he's putting it in the drinking rules. We've got a Class A stalker going on right now.
I'll be getting U-Haul boxes at Jack's house by tomorrow.
Wait, did I miss some Joe Bob news or something? Why is that in my drinking rules?
I don't know. I said he's a week too late.
Now I'm all freaked out. Did I miss something? Speaking of stalking, I'm going to get on his Twitter right now.
He did. He murdered Hillary Clinton in the Spider-Man costume.
Oh, my God. I can buy a pantsuit at the dollar store now. So, Jack, before this goes any further, what's going on in the news? Horror news, specifically.
The horror news. Well, let me just give a tip to Sheridan, since he made a drinking rule. The news that broke this afternoon is Sony and Disney are now had a big spat about Spider-Man. And so Sony may be pulling Spider-Man from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So the big news first was it looks like that they broke up. Then news broke that, well, they could fix it. So everybody can just. This sounds like a negotiating back and forth, and two people with giant piles of money are fighting over the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How they're gonna split up the $1 billion they made.
Yeah, they want to all make money, so they'll find a way.
But let's just, Jason, this is right in your wheelhouse. Sony, if Sony thinks that they can pull him out of the MCU and go back to making successful movies with him, good luck.
Man, when I heard that last movie was the final one on the contract between the two of them, I knew Sony was going to fuck this up somehow, and here we go. It's just, it's like they can't help it. It's almost compulsive. Like, how can we screw up our money-making machine? And they do it. I love it. I love Sony.
So now, did both of you guys, let's move to the news I had actually prepared. Did both of you read In the Tall Grass by Stephen King?
Yes.
I sure did.
Well, I didn't, and I don't have to now because the movie I believe it's going to be on Netflix, is going to be released for October 4th. So we've got a movie for that week. Woohoo!
Yeah, thank God.
In
That's
the
a good
Tall
book.
Grass movie? Did we talk about this and I just have completely deleted it from my memory?
Yep.
Okay. I remember talking about the short story a couple times.
That's going to be a short movie.
And there's a scene in it that I'm a little curious how they're going to do.
Patrick Wilson's going to be in it.
Ooh.
TV's Ed Warren and Night Owl.
Dreamboat.
Rachel Wilson from Saw 3D, the final chapter. There's some casting.
Well, let me go look at my video shelf and pull that off.
Listen, I don't remember. Your description of this movie was very vague, so I'm just looking forward to it. It sounds like it'll be fun, but I have no idea what it's really about besides tall grass.
It's people trapped in tall grass.
That's literally it.
Ticks. Gotta watch out for ticks, and maybe what I've learned in golf when you're playing like down in Florida, that if you hit the ball into the tall grass, you take your club and you kind of rustle the grass a little bit to scare the snakes away before you go reaching in for your ball.
Oh,
so,
lovely. That's a reason to visit Florida.
Yeah, the water moccasins. Here's some good news. If you're still collecting Blu-rays, The Haunting of Hill House is going to be released as a extended director's cut coming very soon to Blu-ray near you. And a couple of the episodes have extra scenes in them, including, I think, that 5th episode. That was the awesome one in the funeral home.
Yeah.
And then some commentaries and stuff like that. So if you go online, you can see details on what everything is. But I'm not going to buy the Blu-ray, but if somebody happened to have it, I would be happy to watch it.
That's a long stay at their house watching it with them.
Yeah. Hey, you guys got any food?
I've always found that stuff is edited for a reason, and when they put it back, I was like, that didn't need to be there.
I really enjoy that show, and I kind of don't feel like I need more. Like, I'll probably revisit that down the road in a few years, but I was very happy with it, and it's not something I was planning to buy a Blu-ray, but I don't know. If you got it for Christmas, I'd watch it.
It is the second best horror project that starts with The Haunting of.
That's true.
That's true.
The second best. I mean, we're going to talk about the best tonight.
That's a good point, man. You know what could have used a longer running time was this movie, actually. Maybe we'll get a director's cut of this.
Oh, if only.
Please. Can we
With
get pre-pregnant Hillary Duff?
Original songs by the Duff Sisters.
Oh, my God. Hillary and Haley.
Yeah.
Vote for Summer.
Here's some genuinely great news in celebration of next week's movie with our girlfriend, Samara Weaving. The Babysitter, the movie on Netflix from 2017, is getting a sequel.
Yep.
Really?
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Giggity. Now, I guess Bella Thorne won't be in it because did she die in the... spoiler alert!
Yeah.
a lot of the original cast died, but the important one didn't. So
The Babysitter was still alive. And directed by McG again.
McG.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not expect this news at all.
I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed that movie. I actually was thinking about rewatching that movie. It's been a couple, I haven't watched it since we watched it for the show.
That movie was so much fun.
Yeah. So that's great news.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sneak one more piece of news in because this also came in under the wire and is more on the lighter side of things. You remember your favorite movie, Practical Magic?
Oh yeah, dude. Sandra Bullock.
Wait a second. I went to the theater to see that because that
So
was my
let me ask
Sandra
you a
Bullock
question.
phase.
Before I get to the news, who would you take in front of the movie? Sandra Bullock or Nicole Kidman?
Sandra Bullock, still.
Nicole Kidman,
Nicole
smoking
Kidman.
it.
Yeah. No thanks.
I've never seen the movie. I have no idea.
I would take Stockard Channing. He played the aunt. But she was Rizzo.
Rizzo, exactly.
Well, their HBO is going to make a limited series prequel based on the book, The Rules of Magic. It'll be about the ants, and it's going to take place in the 60s.
Oh, God. Sure.
A prequel. Yay. To a movie I haven't seen. Yay.
Yeah, that's not going to be for us. We're not the audience there.
We're not the audience for this. There's hope, though. HBO does good stuff. So
very true.
I'm gonna withhold judgment and say I saw that movie once. I don't remember much about it, and except like them dancing in the kitchen or something.
Yeah, I don't remember much either.
But
that was during like that 10-year stretch. Everything she was in, I ran out to see. So stupid.
Yeah. So that and Spider-Man came in like right before the show. So it's like we got a little bonus news today.
Yeah. Hey, look, witches need to get their due. I think it's fine.
It's the witches that'll get you.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, help me, Jesus.
Oh Jesus. All right, that's all I got. Let's go on to the next thing.
Okay, we're gonna move on to all the crap that we watch, and we want to foist on you to make you watch.
We have such sights to show you.
All right.
It's time for curation. See, Jason, what you don't see is instead of seeing your blurry you, I see the bumpers, so I can't see you pointing.
This is like the first time you and I are seeing like the bumpers.
But if you can see the bumper, you don't need me to point. When it ends, you just talk.
Well, I started talking, but you talked before I talked, and I think it just ended, and you started talking, so I couldn't talk. So that's what happened.
Stepped all over his intro there. Terrible.
Wow. It's almost like this is completely unplanned, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, this is all scripted, motherfuckers. All right, so I'm going to start this week with the blurry guy, the guy in witless protection.
Witless.
Hey, I resemble that. All right, so after months of taking a break from when my wife and I watched the Friday the 13th series, just smashed them out in 3 weeks or whatever it was.
That was cool.
I finally have her ready to start watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. So we started with the first one. Actually, it had been a while since I'd seen this. Quite a while. I hadn't forgotten how amazing some of the set pieces are. Like the kills in this are just incredible. The special effects they did, I mean, just top-notch stuff. What I had forgotten was how goofy the writing is. It's one of those where when two people are talking, they keep calling each other their name or, no, mother, I'm going upstairs, mother, like that kind of crap. I'm like what?
So he thought a petulant child sounded like.
That's like the girl in the new Halloween movie kept referring to as grandmother.
Yeah, God, that shit is just so bad. But in watching it again and getting to the ending and kind of hearing her perspective as she watched it, when we get to the final scene with the stupid jump scare crap at the end.
Oh, that was terrible.
It's so bad. But she's like, wait, what happened? So I was like, no, that's the question everybody has with this movie is that stupid little bumper thing they put on the end just screws everything up. But I really liked going back and revisiting this. I always get a kick out of this movie. I think this is Wes Craven really hitting it on all cylinders with his directing. I mean, the stuff they did with the room spinning and Johnny Depp's bloodbath thing, and I mean, just so much great stuff.
The girl in the body bag is one of the greatest visuals in all of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when her leg gets picked up and dragged away, that is just so money. So I enjoyed it. It is one of those things that I look back now and I'm still like, so was the whole movie a dream? Because the way that it ends is so, it just throws a monkey wrench in the story.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not entirely sure what happened.
Nobody is.
I've seen the movie like 15 times and I still am not 100% sure how it ends. But a lot of fun.
Now, did the tall one like it?
She did like it, yes. Now,
All right, that's good.
when I get to my next one, things are going to change a little bit.
I suspect.
You're not really going to watch part 2, are you? Oh.
Already did. I'll get to that in a bit.
Oh, that's in the chamber. All right, Shaq, what do you got?
Hunter, you're going to love this one. I went back to, I think it's 1976. I needed a movie. I'm wearing a Jaws shirt here. I needed something that was nothing like Jaws. So I watched Grizzly.
Oh, my God. I love
Nice.
Grizzly.
Which is nothing like Jaws with a bear.
That was the double feature in the theater by my grandparents' house, Jaws and Grizzly.
I'll tell you what, I had not seen that movie in ages. I don't even know if I've seen the movie. Remember I was talking last week about how you watched movies on TV when you were young? And
Right.
You may have not even seen the whole thing. That's the case with Grizzly. I don't know if I actually watched it start to finish.
Oh, my
So-
God. That's got Richard Jekyll and...
Yeah.
damn it. I can't remember the other guy.
Oh, God. How am I?
Christopher
Christopher
George.
George. Who's like the king of my teen horror watching.
Hey, he was in Pieces.
He smokes 1,000 cigarettes in this movie.
Yes, he does.
And basically, there's 3 guys, and it's basically Quint, Hooper, and Brody
Yes, on land.
on land and in a helicopter. And the great thing about this movie is the kills, because when the grizzly attacks, like it lops off people's arms and heads, and they go spinning and flying. And
Yes. That was my first ever severed head that I ever saw in a movie was Grizzly.
and then they've got Chekhov's bazooka.
As you're describing this, I thought I'd seen this. I don't remember any of this.
Oh, you got to see it. You got to see it. It's a blast. I think it's on Prime. It's either on Prime or Shutters.
It's a titan of animal attacks movies from the 70s.
It was the first animal attack movie after Jaws. Basically, it was the first of the million Jaws knockoffs that there were. Grizzly was the first one. And I had a blast watching it. It's got all that great set. It feels like a TV movie that they actually just had some swears, and I think there might be a boob or two. It feels like a made-for-TV movie that had enough swearing and blood to be put in the theater.
Yes.
But the production values were all like TV movie level.
Completely. It's great. I'm surprised I don't own that movie.
Yeah, what a blast. So go back and watch Grizzly if you haven't seen it, or if you're you want to do your Animals Attack marathon, that's a must see for.
Well, Jack, I was just like you. I went back to the 70s. I went to Amazon Prime. I saw a movie that I had actually never heard of until recently, The Manitou. You ever hear of that?
I think
Probably
so.
not. This is from 1978 or 77. It's based on a Graham Masterson novel, which is, Graham Masterson, he's a master. Here is your hit list, your cavalcade of stars. It stars Tony Curtis
Wow. Stoney Curtis.
as a phony psychic who wears like a wizard robe in his San Francisco apartment, but he's like kind of like a playboy too. He is vamping this up to just the rafters. It's amazing. You also have Susan Strasberg, Stella Stevens, Ann Southern, Burgess Meredith. It's all older people, and it's people that were big probably 30, 40 years earlier. Here's what this movie's about. Stella Stevens goes to the doctor saying, I have this weird lump in the back of my shoulder. I don't know what it is. So they go to a tumor specialist, and he goes, well, it's not a tumor. The thing is growing exponentially day after day. And it's starting to form, it looks like a fetus. And it turns out it is a fetus. Her ex-husband is Tony Curtis, the psychic, who's trying to get to the bottom of this, which they start to figure out very early on that this is a medicine man demon growing inside her body.
What?
I am not shitting you. So Then they go to Burgess Meredith, who's an anthropologist and is big on Native American studies, and he kind of helps them a little bit. But then you naturally have to go to the medicine man who lives on a reservation, and it's a battle to save her body and soul as the medicine man is growing in man size on her back in the hospital. And anytime you try to remove it, lasers shoot out.
Oh my God.
Fly across the room. The last 20 minutes of this is the most surreal, insane thing I have ever fucking seen in any movie. I could not believe what was going on in this thing. It's shaman battling demons, midget Native American demons. It's amazing.
How did you find this?
I think I heard it on Shockwaves. Or maybe I read it somewhere. I was like, I never heard of this. And, Tony Curtis in a horror movie, I got to watch it.
And your Burgess Meredith binge continues.
Always Burgess Meredith, and this is right around the same time as The Sentinel. Guys, you got to watch this.
This sounds amazing. I'm coming over.
I wished you were here because we would be laughing our asses off right now.
That sounds incredible. Like,
wow.
I'm literally I'm going to hang up. If we were talking about the greatest movie of the year, I would bail on this show and just go watch it. Think
of a psychedelic battle between a Native American medicine man, a demon medicine man, and Tony Curtis.
What do you mean?
70s special effects.
That's in my dream journal every night. I mean, this is amazing.
This might be your favorite movie of all time.
Wow.
And the Penguin? Come on.
God. Goddamn. This is amazing.
I said goddamn.
I said goddamn. So check out The Manitou on Amazon Prime. I had to buy. It was like $2.99 to rent. It was worth it.
The Manitou. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. Well, this had what sounds like about the same level of production, and it's A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
For all my children.
I warned my wife, okay, you thought Friday the 13th, the quality started tapering towards the end. I'm like, you have seen nothing. Just wait until we get into this and Halloween. You are going to hate me. And then once we get into Hellraiser, that'll be when the divorce proceedings start.
Oh, hell yeah. That's terrible. Don't do that to her.
This movie is so bad. Every time I watch it, I'm just amazed that this got made the way it did. I mean, how do you screw up Freddy's makeup in only the second movie?
True.
It's just, then it makes no sense. I mean, things are happening when people are awake, when they're asleep. There's no consistency. I don't know what the hell's going on. To say this has gay subtext is just, that's bullshit. This movie is so flamboyant. It's just right from the jump.
It's just text. It's just text. It's not subtext.
Right. When the scene happens where the dude is cleaning up his bedroom, I mean, I thought her jaw was going to hit the floor. She was just like, is this real? Yes, this is in this movie. And then, it's one of those movies that when you're watching it, as soon as you see it in every scene, right?
Yes.
Like the girl's trying to have sex with him, and he runs out and runs over to his friend's house, wakes him up, and is like face to face with him on the bed, and they're both like shirtless, and I'm like, wow, this is
This is like an episode of Monster Ben being recorded.
The latest Rue Morgue magazine is dedicated to this movie and to the guy who was the star of it and like the shit journey he had to go through after this movie.
I can only imagine.
This movie really could possibly be the biggest letdown sequel. I mean, you've got Jaws 2, was not a great sequel, but is it the greatest letdown ever? No. There's a lot of bad sequels. Caddyshack 2 is probably the worst sequel of all time.
Yeah.
But if we're going to just stick to horror, although Caddyshack 2 is kind of a horror show.
It sure is.
But in horror, I mean, the bar was so high with Nightmare on Elm Street, and when they came out with that, you were just like, oh, how could you screw that up so badly?
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, and everything is wrong. The casting, not just the main guy, the parents. They're like 97 years old, and he's in high school. And there's just weird scenes where a bird explodes, and they're like, wow, it's really hot. And the dad gets up and says, yeah, it's 97 degrees in this house. What? It's
Well, if
just,
he's that old, his blood is thin.
the whole
Can't
thing
feel
is
it.
bizarre. I don't even have to get into, the the gym teacher having his ass whipped to death by a towel. Like, this movie's bizarre.
I haven't watched that in like 25 years at least.
It just doesn't exist in my canon.
It has to be seen to be believed, but it's already basically killed her desire to watch the rest of the series.
Oh, tell it it rises like a phoenix.
I told her,
Next one.
you've got another bump coming up, and then don't worry, the crash and burn is spectacular, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch a bunch of the other Night Elm Street movies, but I am not going back to part 2 unless I'm like at your house, Hunter.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm going to force you. That would be mean. So, Jack, what you got?
So, unlike you guys, I'm very committed to this podcast, and I know it's a public service. I take it very seriously to keep our audience posted on the latest and greatest horror movies. And I know that you guys aren't really keeping your eye on the ball with what you watch, so I take it upon myself to stay current. And so what I did was, this was the world premiere this weekend of the latest and greatest horror movie, Zombie Tidal Wave, with Ian Ziering on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Christ. Oh my
You are
God.
on the cutting edge.
This is, I mean, highbrow.
He just went from Celebrity Family Feud to this movie. He's amazing.
So, well, there's a 90210 reunion show going on right now, plus this. So this is the year of Ziering. He's got a lot going on.
He could be the next William Shatner.
However, let's just say, instead of sharks, you've got zombies. Instead of tornadoes, you've got tidal waves. But what you don't have in this movie is the humor and the celebrity cameos that you got in Sharknado, which was just enough to maybe get you to watch those movies.
Right.
This
So they
doesn't
played this
have-
one like for
This
no
one,
laughs.
they played it for no laughs.
Oh my
And
God.
Ian Ziering plays it dead serious.
What?
And so I'm watching it going, but did they not take any notes? You got what, like 6 Sharknado movies that have throwing like Hasselhoff and Carrot Top in these movies? Like, what are you doing? There's no
Yeah.
robot Tara Reid. Come on.
What a decision.
So, I mean, basically they're on some, I don't know, some tropical island or whatever, and there's some blue glowy stuff coming out of a shipwreck. And then there's all these zombies in the water, and then of course there's like a tidal wave and it hits the town, and now there's these like blue zombies going,
Blue
and
zombies?
they're blue.
They're like
blue
Smurfs.
They're Smurfy.
Remember when the Smurfs became zombies?
Nap, nap, knap,
Nap,
knap.
nap. They bite each other on the ass and they turn. What color? Didn't they turn green or something?
Purple, maybe?
They turned another color, but that's how they were zombies.
So, here's the great thing though, is I recorded it, and Sunday morning I just had a lot of like stuff I had to do, like laundry and other stuff. So I just put it on and had it that I didn't feel bad when I was like, oh, I need to just get up and go do this and do that. There was no like, oh, should I pause it? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run.
You probably felt good
Yeah.
to get
so,
the break.
So anyway, so I don't think we found the next Sharknado, Ian. I think you need to go back and get like Shatner or Hasselhoff or somebody, Al Roker.
Wow. How do you screw up something called Zombie Tidal Wave? Just make it ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's it. They didn't make it ridiculous. It is ridiculous in the sci-fi movie tradition of like cheesy special effects and a bunch of no names in this thing. Throw Carmen Electra in there. Come on.
Yeah, you got Pam Anderson.
Pam Anderson. Anybody.
She needs
Carrot Top.
work. Bill Burr. Oh my God.
That's
well.
disappointing.
So you're welcome, horror fans.
Yes. Scratch that one off my friggin' list. Jason, thanks to you, because I wasn't aware Blake Crouch had that new book, Recursion, out.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked over to the store and I got myself a copy. Let me tell you, man, this is my favorite book of the year so far. Hands down. Hands down. It starts out like in the first like 50 pages, his books always draw me right in. Like his books are quick reads. even if they're dense, you can. It's something like, I don't know. It's like crack. It's word crack. But basically,
just the way he writes just gets me.
Yeah, it's a time travel story, which usually these things fall apart pretty fast and pretty hard.
Yeah.
But it's about this woman who invents this way to travel back to memories, and when you can travel back to memories, you change time. This book, the third act, blew me away because it went in a direction I didn't know it was going to go into, and there's scenes, extended scenes of things happening towards the end of this book that had my jaw on the floor and had me actually literally scared.
Wow.
Really?
I'll tell you later, Jason, but it's things based on stuff that can actually happen, and the way he described it happening, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I know what you're talking about. It's
Oh, my God. I mean, it jarred me. I mean, I read the last 170 pages in one sitting. I refused to get up till I finished that. Yeah, that's how hooked I was. It's a brilliant book. I'm reluctant to. I'm almost afraid to like sit back and really pull apart the time travel stuff. But I think he found a way to close those gaps enough where it made it acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd love to write a time travel story, but I know I'll screw it up, and it's almost impossible to do. And I think you're right. I think he found the way to do it, and it just. I don't know. I think that guy, he might be the best thriller writer going today. I mean, he is just smashing it with every book.
I'm right there with you right now because this one is just Jesus. I got to go read the Wayward Pines books.
They're really good. They're a lot more horror-ish than the last two.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll read anything this guy writes.
He's an absolute beast.
Yep. So I was going to talk about Momo by Lyle Blackburn, but I'm like, I just finished this book yesterday. I'm like, I have to talk about this.
Awesome. Glad you liked it.
Momo.
Momo was one of the bodyguards in Analyze This.
Was he?
Momo.
Oh, was he the guy who said, what's a dietetic sandwich? How about half a sandwich?
Might have been. I just remember like somebody yelled. He was yelling. Like all the cops are closing in on the mob meeting, and somebody goes something like Momo.
He was a Bigfoot. So Jason, you have anything left?
I do. My 90s horror train continues with movies that look like they were shot for television.
Ooh.
Nice.
I saw something. So because I've watched like 5 of these now, Amazon is just recommending 90s horror movies you missed. So I watched one called Mirror Mirror. It's in mirror/mirror.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, me too.
I'd never heard of it, but it's basically Carrie. But if Carrie didn't have telekinetic powers, but she had a magic mirror that did all the exact same things. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
This girl and her family move into a new house, and an old mirror is left behind, and it's haunted by a demon or something. And anyone who pisses her off, the mirror kills. That's it. That's the story.
Is there anyone of note in this fine movie?
Karen Black is the only name I recognized.
That's a big name right there.
I'll tell you what. This is one that I see what they were going for. They were trying to do some cool mirror stuff, a couple decent gore scenes, solid nude scene. It looks like it was a Goosebumps episode, though. Like, it's so cheaply shot, and the colors are so muted. I don't know what the hell is shot on 16 millimeter or something. It doesn't look great. But it's solid enough. If you're on this journey with me of obscure 90s movies that you never got to watch, it's way the hell better than the hell did I watch Sleep Stalker that I did last week.
Oh, yeah, that one sounds like a winner.
Way better than Sleep Stalker. Not a great movie, but if you're on this train with me, it's worth a stop. Mirror Mirror on Amazon Prime.
The Horror Express.
The shitty 90s Horror Express.
Jack, what about you?
I got one more.
He does.
I do. So
Do it.
I don't know where I saw this. It's either on Amazon Prime or Shudder, probably. It's a documentary called Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue, which is about American horror movies. Low budget. Lance Henriksen narrates it, and let me see. Some of the usual suspects are interviewed in this: Larry Cohen, Joe Dante, Mick Garris, Romero, Roger Corman, John Carpenter.
Wow.
That's a great list.
It is a great list. So it's interesting. And then it's one of those things, well, keep a notepad while you're watching it, because I wish I had. I didn't. It's going to remind you how many freaking movies you've seen. And then it's going to also be like, oh, wow, there's so many movies I haven't seen.
Right.
So it's one of those ones. It's low budget. It's, production values are pretty low. But the interviews are good, and they just show you a lot of good. So if you're looking for some ideas on things to watch, or you want to hear some stories from behind the scenes, it was a good little watch.
I've been meaning to watch that. It's actually on my queue.
I've never heard of it. Now
it's one of those ones. When I'm often in the mood where I'm like, I do not have the attention span to watch a whole movie right now, but I can watch this because they keep changing what I'm watching. So
exactly,
ADD can handle it.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna watch that now. I didn't realize that it had such a big lineup of directors. So just to see Larry Cohen and George Romero again, it's worth it.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let me squeeze my last thing in here quick. How long has it been since you guys saw Bad Moon?
Oh, I just saw it a couple of months ago.
Directed by Eric Red.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, okay.
That's my man, my fellow author at Sam Hain.
This movie's so weird to me because I love a lot of it, and then the other parts I'm like, what? Like that werewolf transformation, man. It's like I can't even describe it to people. It looks like they just stretched stuff in a computer. I mean, it's like, what?
Is that the one with the people in the tent at the beginning?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and he's attacked by the monster and turned into one. There's barely any story here. A dude is turned into a werewolf in the first 2 minutes, and then he goes and lives with his sister and nephew and turns into a wolf at night. And the family dog is trying to protect the family. That's it. That's the whole story. So It's cool. It's simple. It feels like it should have been a Twilight Zone episode or a short story, something in Tales from the Crypt. It's only 80 minutes, which works to its credit, but there's so little story, it almost feels like it's stretched too far in a way. And the uncle is so weird because at the beginning he says, you need to keep the dog here. The dog's trying to protect you. And then later he does something that makes the dog have to be taken away. And then 5 minutes later he's yelling at the sister for letting the dog be taken away. Like, what the hell is going on with this dude? But then you see the monster and the creature effects and the gore, and it's really freaking good. So we have so few good werewolf movies, that anytime I see something like this, it's pretty decent. I'm like, yes, it's good in my book. And it's free on Prime and Shudder, I think. So,
and my library has 10 copies on DVD.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I wouldn't label this as good, but decent.
As far as the bar for a werewolf movie, it's in the upper echelon. That doesn't put it in the upper echelon of horror movies, but, Lycanthrope. It's pretty
Full disclosure, I know Eric, and it's great.
It's not that I don't like it, and I think he's actually a really good writer because The Hitcher is one of my favorites. I mean, the guy is good. The transformation, I think, had they not shit the bed on that, which I'd be curious to hear him talk about that. It feels like some studio bullcrap to me. I feel like this would be a lot higher in people's books as far as these movies go.
Maybe we should get him on the show.
I would love to ask him about that because it's bad. And it does not fit the rest of the effects. The rest of the effects are practical and they look pretty damn good. And then some dude just photoshops something in 5 seconds and that's what you got.
All right. I'm going to have to reach out to him.
Done. Make it happen.
We all loved that movie.
It's the best.
Yeah. Jerks. All right. Enough of this claptrap and rabble-rousing. We got to get to the real movie, The Haunting of Sharon Tate.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Yeah, I've always considered myself a bit of a Hillary Duff expert. You might call me a Duffer.
Oh, God.
Because my children came about in this world right around the time Lizzie McGuire became a thing. So I remember watching every episode, all 60-something episodes, maybe 10 times each. Saw the Lizzie McGuire movie, saw that Cinderella thing she did, saw everything. I think for the first 7 years of her career, I saw everything. Lost track.
Yeah, her and Lindsay Lohan were sort of at the same. When was it safe to consider them hot?
Jesus Christ. It's like The Professional. So she was like the good Lindsay Lohan. And now she's a mom, married, and I think divorced to a hockey player or whatever. And we get this movie. So this is a personal project for her, I believe, because she's the executive producer and she stars in it as Sharon Tate.
What?
Yes, my friends. So, Jack, in your inimitable way, why don't you give us a little synopsis of this fine film?
Well, this is the year of the Sharon Tate / Charles Manson movie, and this is clearly the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
This one tackles the eternal question of, did Sharon Tate have a premonition about her murder, and was she haunted by the Manson family before she was actually murdered?
Right.
And in this movie, the answer is yes.
I saw a Dick Cavett episode where he was talking to Roman Polanski about this very same thing. So I'm glad it's been addressed now.
So basically, we're with Sharon Tate, who's preggers, and she's with her friends at the house next to the guys from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but we don't see them.
Brad Pitt's busy fixing the antenna.
And then a lot of just weird crap happens that we'll talk about, because it's the Tate murders, but she had a premonition about them and then is haunted by the Manson family. I mean, I've already... what more can I say without spoiling?
You sound like you want to punch the microphone. You're so frustrated.
I have so much to say about this movie, but the synopsis is not really part of what I want to talk about.
All right. Well, let's let Jason go first, because I triple dog dared him into doing this movie.
I regret taking that dare. I wasn't drinking either, which makes me upset that I would accept this sober. You know, when all these announcements about the Sharon Tate Manson murders started, and we were just every week we had news about one of these projects, I did not want to see any of them because I don't like to see the real life reenactments of people being murdered and killed, particularly if their loved ones are still alive. Okay, if it's Braveheart and it's William Wallace and it's a historical thing, it's different. But people that knew her are still alive. So I don't want to see a movie where this shit happens. We go and we see Quentin Tarantino's version, and he nails it. I love it. He handled it perfectly. And then I watch this giant turd, and it is exactly what I did not want to happen. It is the most exploitive thing. I mean, porn is not this exploitive. Exploitative? Exploitative?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's that big word.
Exploitative.
Like what in God's name was anyone involved thinking? I just couldn't even tell you.
I think they were thinking that Hillary Duff looks a lot like Sharon Tate. I think that's as far as it went.
Well, she doesn't.
I mean, they're blonde.
They're blonde. It's funny, Hillary Duff is way older than Sharon Tate was when she was murdered.
So, does Hillary Duff always sound like that, or was that some weird accent she was trying to do?
Dude.
Well, when? Because there was only certain parts of the movie where she had the accent.
Well, I was so fascinated by this bizarre English governor's accent that would come out of her every now and then. This breathless. I went and I watched about 20 Sharon Tate videos of like interviews. Sometimes she actually talked like that.
Sometimes?
So, yeah, it wasn't all the time. I guess it was whenever she was just trying to put on some kind of weird, I'm a star, affectation. You know?
Trying to tell me that Hillary Duff freaking nailed this performance?
Look, she didn't exactly nail it, but at first I thought, did she have a stroke? What is she doing? But she actually did homework and was trying to get that accent down. So, some weird kind of kudos. I don't know.
Duff.
Wow. I don't even know what to say to that.
I know. Just later on, watch at least one Sharon Tate interview, and you'll be like, "Holy crap!" What about you, Jack?
This movie is so bad on so many levels. It's offensive on so many levels. and yet I'm so happy we're here to talk about it. Yes, Jason's right. It's so bad. It's so offensive in exploiting the murders. But not only does it do that, it has the gall to be a piss poor horror movie as well.
Is it really horror?
Is it? Well, they had murders and there was ghosts. So yeah,
I guess
It's horrifically bad.
So if you got, and they kind of like their decisions in how much to show you throughout the movie was a bizarre choice. It just you're just watching it going, okay, clearly they're not going to take a tasteful route in the people who were murdered.
And they did
like
not.
I said, the acting was terrible. The dialogue was terrible. I was fascinated in what I mean. I saw the trailer for this one, and we were doing the news for this thing, and I could tell it was going to be bad. But when we actually sat down and watched this thing, I was like, "Wow, this is even worse than what I thought." Like it was just bad. And I was telling like a friend of mine at work, I was like, I explained how bad it was, and he goes, "You've convinced me that I need to watch it just to see how bad it was." And then he came back and he goes, "I got about 15 minutes in, and I couldn't take it."
No.
Chicken.
No.
What a chicken.
This is not a so bad it's good, you got to see it because you can't believe it kind of thing. It's just bad.
No. By the way, Hilary Duff did win Best Actress at some film festival for this movie.
Was it the Directors Film Festival in his garage?
Which, look, film festivals are what they are. I guess sometimes if you're the person that shows up.
It was the Hilary Duff Film Festival.
We are not fit to shit on Hilary Duff. I'm just going to put that out there. Successful TV show, movie star, New York Times bestselling author, sold 15 million records, has a successful line of clothes and perfume and stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Everything she does.
So why is she making
turns to
this?
gold. I don't know, because she hasn't done so many movies in the last few years because she's been busy making babies and raising babies and stuff. So it's an odd choice to make your triumphant return. I will give the movie this. It had great shots of the Hollywood Hills. I mean, great aerial shots of the Hollywood Hills.
I wondered if the shots that they were using, if you went back to whatever 69 or whatever year that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
With the landscape, with the lights and everything, they kept showing like the airport and all the city lights, and I'm like, I wonder if somebody would look at that and be like, LA didn't look like that back then. There were half as many lights or whatever.
Well, it was shot in 2018. And there didn't seem to be much of a budget. Nothing delighted me more than seeing like both of your worst nightmares come true in one frickin' movie. Jason doesn't want to see exploitation of actual murders. Jack doesn't want to see true life switcheroos. I'm like, when both happened, it was like, Mike, two chubs in one movie.
Yeah, can anybody just tell the frickin' actual story of these murders, or do we all have to live in La La Land where something else happens?
That's the best thing. We've had two Sharon Tate movies, and neither tells the story at all.
I think that's the worst thing about this is you're going to show these horrible murders, but you're just going to make up a bunch of stupid shit instead of just showing what happened. I mean, at least there's, I don't know, some kind of weird, grotesque value in knowing what happened. But this whole ghost thing, like,
do we know this was made up? Was this discovered in some diary somewhere?
I think you're right.
No, it's very controversial as to if she ever actually even said what she said. But it's totally exaggerated if she said whatever even she said. So
I can tell you what didn't happen. She didn't hear Charles Manson's songs playing to her over the freaking radio.
Or the tape deck in the attic.
That tape-to-tape machine, that haunted tape-to-tape machine that looked like out of Friday the 13th, the series.
I believe that was the actual Charles Manson recording.
It was. I paused the movie because I was like, this sounds really shitty. Almost to the point where it sounds like a real Charles Manson recording. And I looked it up on YouTube. It is the song.
Oh,
they
cool.
got Charles Manson's song and put it in a movie about the woman he was involved in the murder of. How does anyone think this is okay? Like, what are you doing?
Nobody involved in this movie should make a penny.
It's
but I'm sure they did.
I don't even know what to say about this movie half the time. It's so bad. And we talked a lot about, we don't like to have movies on here that we're just going to shit on. Like, I understand what it is to work on something a lot and then somebody just leaves a 1 star and it's a giant piece of shit. That sucks. I don't want to do that. But I feel like we have to do that here. Like, people should not watch this movie.
Well, what they call the haunting, she has several times like visions of the actual murder, and they kind of recreate it, and they kind of recreate it faithfully and brutally.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's just rough.
It's horrible.
And this happens like what, 3 or 4 times?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you've ever wanted to see Sharon Tate and her friends get killed over and over again, this is the movie for you.
It was like the Groundhog Day of Sharon Tate movies.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
They should have played "I Got You, Babe" by Charles Manson.
Oh, it was brutal, man. When it was brutal, it was brutal. Like, hard to watch, knowing that this is what really happened.
I don't get it. So, did anybody look the director up? Because I did.
I did. I actually wrote notes and I lost them.
This
when I
guy
was on vacation.
This guy produced Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street giant mega documentary.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He did the Crystal Lake Massacres documentary, which I don't think was the really good one, right? I think that was called, maybe, no, it was Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake Memories.
Memories. It says Crystal Lake Massacres Revisited. So I don't think
maybe that's a different thing, yeah.
But in 2018, he made the Amityville Murders, which I'd never heard of, so I checked it out. It's the true life story, supposedly, of when Ronald DeFeo, I think it's
Ronnie DeFeo, yeah.
when he killed his family.
That's more interesting to me than the fake haunting.
So he did that, The Real Murders. Then he does Sharon Tate. His next movie is the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
Oh, I'm sure that's going to be all classy.
Look
out!
Look, I understand people have mortgages to pay. You got to put food on the table. What is this dude doing? This is now going to be his thing. Just fucking up people's murder stories.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, like you said, you answered the question. He's got bills to pay.
Now
it's his thing.
Go shoot Skinamax movies or something. Do they still make Skinamax movies?
I don't think so.
Luckily I recorded a bunch of them, and I sell them on the black market.
By the way, you mentioned Bella Thorne before, and she's in an Amityville movie. She was just paid. She directed a movie for Pornhub that's on the circuit right now. It's a porno movie with a Bella Danger, which now I have to watch that.
There you go, Daniel Ferrans. Go shoot movies for Pornhub or something, dude. Like, don't do this. This is...
Yeah, God. I wonder how much they pay you.
I mean, it couldn't be much less than this.
When I heard he's doing The Haunting of Nicole Simpson, I'm just like totally like offended, and yet I'm like, oh, I gotta see this.
They just don't. Who's funding this?
By the way, what did you guys think, aside from her accent, what did you think of Hilary Duff's performance?
Oh, Roman.
You know what's funny? I forgot. I was thinking, oh, God, yeah, we're going to see Hilary Duff. She looks fantastic. I'm like, oh, it's pregnant Hilary Duff, who was actually pregnant shooting the movie, I believe.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, not as pregnant as she showed in this movie, but was pregnant, which must have been weird. Like, here you are, you're shooting a movie about a woman who was murdered, who was pregnant, and you're a woman who's pregnant.
It just adds to the layers of badness over this movie.
I don't even know what to say anymore. I think I'm tapped out. No. Wait.
No?
How about the beautiful ending? And fuck the spoiler bell.
Well, okay.
Yeah, the bell doesn't need to be rung.
Yeah, we have to talk about the ending, because I have a question about the ending. So the ending, can I just please, Hunter, you touched on it. I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? Another alternate reality.
I stood up and clapped. Stood up and clapped.
I'm like, is this just like, did I miss the memo where people were like, this is what we're doing this year? Then that stupid twist comes, which you saw. Oh my God.
But then it's a twist and a twist.
So does somebody want to talk what the twist ending was? I don't.
Well, what happens is, instead of everyone getting murdered, Hilary Duff finds a way to thwart the murders. So you think, oh crap, the haunting, her being pre-haunted by the murders and Charlie Manson.
They kill the killers.
Yeah, like Brad Pitt did.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, wow, that looks awful similar. And then she goes walking past all these body bags. You realize, no. So the whole time, was she haunting herself?
It makes less sense than the ending of Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
But they looked all happy when she came to join them on the road.
Was she holding the baby when she walked out to meet her friends? It looked like she had something in her hand, and they may have like just shown her back, but I feel like there may be cut footage where she was holding the baby. That's where I wanted to ask you guys if you had noticed.
I'm going to have to do an intense second viewing, which I almost did this week. I just couldn't find the time.
Yeah, when she walks out and joins her other dead friends on the street so they can walk away, I was just staring at the screen, thunderstruck at what I'm watching.
See, what gave me the greatest joy was knowing I roped you guys into watching this. It was great.
Yeah, I'm the one who told you about this movie. You did not convince me to watch it.
Yeah, let's argue over who forced us to watch this piece of shit.
I got the most excited, I think.
Man,
I can see Lizzie McGuire in something. I'm in.
This has overtaken Winchester for me as the worst movie we've watched for this show.
Yes, this definitely has. Greasy Strangler is head and shoulders above this.
But
yeah, they all have their special
that's
place.
Enjoyable. Bad.
Yeah, I mean, if we saw her in a car wash naked, like that movie, maybe.
I'd have more respect for that.
Whew.
I just don't. So she's a multimillionaire, right? I mean, if she has all these businesses, what is she doing in this?
She's got a ton of money. She's got to work, Wants to get back in the public eye. This only has a 3.1 rating on IMDb. Boy, they are rough.
That's generous.
Wonder what the Rotten Tomatoes was.
Oh, the aspect ratio was 2.35 to 1.
Which was actually, I got to admire. That was probably a good aspect ratio for this movie.
And by the way, the guy who played Jay Sebring, the both of them worked together on Cheaper by the Dozen.
Ooh. I recognize that guy from other stuff, but I couldn't place him.
Yeah.
Man.
There was that there's something happened when they were out walking in the woods or out in the desert where they saw the two girls or something. And then there was the dead dog. They kept having these flashback things of.
Oh, if you don't like dead dogs, this is not going to be your movie.
Yeah, there was several dead dog scenes in this.
Yeah, that was a really dead dog.
That was rough.
I mean, I saw a lot of reviews that called it sleazy, exploitive. Let's just say bad. Can we just say bad?
I would say all three. Yeah.
We've seen sleazier. What's sleazier, this or a Serbian film?
Well, at least a Serbian film's not real. There's no...
True.
It's not based on anything. You're not soiling someone's memory.
There's another Charles Manson movie coming out called...
Come on.
I think it's called Charlie Says. And this one is a more of a straightforward drama about the Charlie Manson and the girls who did the killing and how he kind of seduced them or whatever, or programmed them. And I think by far it's the most taking this seriously out of any of the movies that have come out this year. I read a good review of it today.
Like Charles Manson's out already.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we had the Volcano and Dante's Peak. You had the two Meteor movies that year, and this year it's Sharon Tate.
Yep. Well, this has on Amazon 49% are 1-star reviews, but 22% are 5-star.
Is there a 5-star review? Let's do let's take a page out of How Did This Get Made?
Yeah, I need a second opinion. Watch it before you judge on the exploitation. This movie has so much heart in it. I know the subject matter is disturbing, but Hilary Duff's performance made me have so mush sympathy for Sharon. I really think a lot of people miss the point, especially with the ending. Yes, it's sod and brutal, but in reality, it's a love letter to Sharon. And even though there is evil in the world, there's still a lot of love. I left the movie sad, scared, and hopeful that people can always choose happiness. A+.
Thanks for that review.
Did they see
Mr.
that
Duff.
or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
That's by Craig Brocken, whoever Craig is. I think Craig really likes Hillary. This is like me going to see Sandra Bullock in Practical Magic. Like, yeah, that was great, man. I loved it.
Can we stop talking about this movie now?
We can.
The Practical Magic prequel that takes place in the 60s is actually also Sharon Tate's one of the witches. And she puts a spell on Charles Manson. It's going to be great.
Why not? That might be the one that gets the ending right. So next week, we're going to watch what's the name of that movie? I always think Ready or Not. Samara Weaving, the babysitter, returns. And there's a couple other big stars in that movie, I think. They flash by real quick. But this movie I am super excited to see.
The reviews are great so far.
Oh, awesome.
I know nothing about it. I'm going in cold.
So cold. I've seen the coming attraction more times than I can count. And I'm very psyched. So we'll be doing that live. We hope. God knows the way things have been going lately. But live next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't watch us live, you can listen to us on any place where you listen to podcasts. We're everywhere, like a disease. We are the Final
I think
Guys.
we got the recording and streaming down. If we just get our audio fixed, we're good. Like, we're almost back to where we were a year ago.
Fuck you, Google.
That's the worst.
So,
okay.
I bid you all adieu.
Spider-Man.
Bye.
Sharon Tate.